This is a photo of Filipino cannery workers. Who are these people? Why are they in Larsen Bay? In September, a woman contacted the Baranov Museum and said that her father was one of the Filipino men that was dressed up like a woman during the 4th of July parade at Larsen Bay. She wanted to know the story behind it. Why was he dressed up like a woman?
July 4, 1915 was a celebration, and I'm guessing the Alaskans were voicing their wish for statehood, that my rascal father was relishing the opportunity to add to the merriment and make more mischief. That's my guess.
Larsen Bay used to be home of the Arctic Packing Company until 1913, when the Alaska Packers Association moved there from Kodiak.
Because even though most of the fishing was happening around the Kodiak Spit, there's really no anchorage. There's a lot of rocks. There were many shipwrecks on the Kodiak Spit, which resulted in loss of incredible amounts of property as well as lives over the years for the APA. And so they decided to move all canning operations to Larsen Bay.
We know that many Filipinos worked in Kodiak canneries, and from the photos we got, thanks to Diane, Denis is the only person whose story we can tell.
He left the Philippines, I think, when he was 14 years old, and it seems that he next showed up in Hong Kong. From Hong Kong, it seems that he was then in Hawaii, working at a sugar plantation. Then from Hawaii, he went to Australia. He was located on some ship's log, leaving Australia. And then what we can assume is that he probably went Australia to San Francisco, and then in San Francisco was likely recruited by the APA to come to Larsen Bay.
Denis most likely came to Larsen Bay on the boat Star of Scotland that left San Francisco on April 9th and arrived in Larsen Bay on May 2nd. Denis worked in that cannery for just the summer of 1915. It was likely he made cans since they came flat and packed salmon in them. In 1915, the Alaska Packers Association packed 55,163 red salmon cases, 840 pink salmon cases, 472 chum cases, 2,143 coho cases, and 172 king salmon cases.
I think that Denis's story is so cool for Kodiak because it really shows how even though we're isolated kind of in the middle of nowhere, we still have these really personal and close connections with these other areas of the Pacific Rim. And so it really shows how at that point there were opportunities and hardships, of course, being a young Filipino man and doing this type of work. But it's really interesting to see the way that the labor was migrating, and Denis really shows that in his story.